Hello.
Newman, it is Bret Michaels.
Bret, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I, I am doing good as your Central Pennsylvania partner in crime.
There you go, baby. There you go. Man, this is something interesting. I'm glad you brought it up with Central Pennsylvania. I've always wanted to ask you this. I've seen you in interviews. I've read bios that you're from Pittsburgh, but I had heard that you went to Mechanicsburg High School, and then I did a little deep dive on you. So you were born just north of Pittsburgh, right, in Butler County?
I was born in Butler County, and then we moved around a little bit. My dad was in the Navy and also worked at Armco Steel. And then we ended up at the Inland Naval Depot right in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And that's where he finished out his career.
Got it. So that's how you ended up in Mechanicsburg, and then you formed the band, and then you took off and went west to Los Angeles.
We loaded up a van with barely a part of it running and headed west to go out there and play original material out in the West Coast.
Because you were probably bouncing around here in Pennsylvania doing, I'm assuming most bands around here, and still to this day, they got to do a lot of cover songs.
We did tons of cover songs, and what we would do, we would go in, then it was about 3 to 5 sets a night, and we played every bar up and down the East Coast. You know what I mean? You played in Pennsylvania, you went to Maryland, to New Jersey, up to New York, and we would, wherever we could talk them into letting us play, but we always just had this attitude that we were going to make it the absolute best show. We never then or now, and I'm saying for myself or Poison, we never went through the motions.
Yeah.
It just wasn't part of who we were. We were excited to get out of the people always say garage band, but if you grew up in a cold weather area, you're mostly a basement band until the spring or summer. You're down there with the sump pump, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then you graduate to the garage if you're lucky come summertime.
Dude, and if you mic up the sump pump, sometimes you get some extra beats out of that.
You can get a tremendous tempo out of a good sump pump.
We were talking to Bret Michaels. What was it like as a kid, a bunch of kids from Pennsylvania? What were the butterflies like driving out to California heading to L.A.?
It was really incredible because I remember leaving right around my birthday. My birthday was March 15th. It was March 15th. And I remember...
Happy birthday, by the way, but you just celebrated again.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I got to tell you, this is the really truthful, strange combination. I was so determined as, again, growing up a type 1 diabetic, I knew I was going to have to earn what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So there was a part of me that was so excited to be able to go after this dream of making music, right? And yet at the same time, there was a homesickness, which is part of what also inspires Every Rose Has Its Thorn, or one of the first hits that we had was called I Won't Forget You.
Yeah. And
it was about Pennsylvania, our family, our friends, but it also says you better be able to risk it to make that journey. And that's the toughest part for so many people. If I can go deep on this for a minute.
Sure.
So many people that go to succeed is that gap. That gap between getting from one side of the let's say the canyon to the other side is, there's no security. There's no job going out there. You didn't know anybody, but you had to take that leap of faith, and we believed in each other. And there was some, let me say, really tough times in the beginning. And we lived behind a dry cleaner in a warehouse for 3 years of our career. I can't make that up, but we got to rehearse. So we set all of our gear up. We would find part-time work wherever we could get it just to eat and survive. And then we put our own album out. When no one would sign us, we put our own album out, and then it just was the best blessing we ever had. On a business side, we kept all the royalties were ours and all the publishing, and it turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
And now you got over 100 million records under your belt, so congratulations to that.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. And again, I want to start by saying to you, the fans, everyone, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to come back and play.
Yeah, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time back here in Pennsylvania. We'll get to that in a second. Your dad, Navy veteran, blue-collar guy, what was his reaction to Poison?
You ready for this? My dad and mom, I want to be very clear, very supportive. So let me explain. My dad knew that I wanted to make it in music. He knew I loved sports. So I'm kind of like the ultimate rock and jock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love my rock and roll, but I love playing football, baseball, basketball. Motocross was big for me, still is. Supercross, motocross. He knew I was determined to do it, but I think his biggest fear of going out, biggest fear of heading to the West Coast was knowing his son's a diabetic. How are you going to live, survive? I do 5 injections a day. So he's like, as a father, and I'm a father now, 2 daughters, there's always that fear factor that I thought nothing about it. I'm like, I'm going to make it. This is great. But as a parent, it's a crazy moment. And my mom was the first person to ever help form a Harrisburg diabetic youth camp that she put together because I was the only diabetic kid in my school.
Yeah.
So my parents had a great don't be a victim mentality. But we talked about it many times, and my dad told me straight up, he said, my gut was in a knot wondering if you were eating, surviving. You know what I'm getting at. And then the funniest moment, we finally break on the first record. And we come back to play Hershey Stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was enthralled, not with the band, about the amount of road crew and trucks we had. My dad could not stop taking pictures with the trucks. He's like, look at these semis. Are these your semis? I'm like, Dad, but the band's over. Who cares? I know you guys. You grew up. He was so excited about getting pictures with the crew and the trucks. And that's part of what I get to. I'm out there every day throwing football with the crew and hanging out. And I'm grateful for my parents.
We're talking to Bret Michaels. I want to go back to the type 1 diabetes for just a second. I had heard that you just got a bill passed in the state of California.
I did. It's called State Bill or SB 97. We worked on this hard for 3 years. So for 10 years, nothing. You couldn't get it to budge. And I finally said, I'm going up in front of the House of Representatives, Senate, Congress. I'm walking in first one in the morning before they're tired, right? Before they're done with the day.
Right.
I walked in and I said, this is why you have to pass this bill. There's 3 levels, unanimous. They voted. I was like, wow, that worked. Second level worked. Third level, really tough. And it took about another, I'm going to say about another year after that. And I cannot thank my partners in crime for that, which was Ease and Senator Roth. And we just told people this is why we have to do it. And now we're coming to Pennsylvania to work on this as well.
That's great because we do a lot of work with JDRF, juvenile diabetes, and it's I think encouraging to a lot of people, including those families, obviously, to see somebody at your level of success that has tackled diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and gone on to be, a superstar.
Well, first of all, thank you, and I want to add 2 things to that. I hope that what I leave with people's minds, besides the music and having, coming out and having a great time and treating people great, that they also see that whatever they choose, in other words, whatever their line of work is, whatever they want to do, especially with let's just say a little bit of a setback like being diabetic, right, is that it inspires them to push through. And there's no doubt you just have to buckle down, buckle up, and work a little harder at it. And I hope that inspiration, that if I can do it, travel a crazy schedule. And let me explain. The night before I see you at the festival, I play with Poison. We kick off in Atlanta at SunTrust Stadium. I believe the 16th, the night before, I see you on the 17th. And then on the 18th, I'm back in Miami. And that, as a diabetic, is tough. When you're traveling, it's tough.
Oh, yeah.
And I just tell people, you just have to work. You have to go 100 yards to get 50 as a diabetic. Right. So I just decided I'm not going to be a victim. That's what I'm going to do. And just never let it drag me down. And you have to have as much mind put into it it's both physical and mental.
We're talking with Bret Michaels. You mentioned you're coming up to see us. The Barefoot Country Music Festival is happening in Wildwood, New Jersey. It goes from the 16th to the 19th. You got Jason Aldean on this thing, Eric Church, Florida Georgia Line, a slew of other kids like Chris Jansen and Jameson Rogers. You've been added to the bill. We're about 90 days out, roughly. When is the last time you did like a beach gig like this festival?
I've done it. You ready? So I just kicked off. I do a bunch of these festivals. Let me explain. I was just down in Key West, right? We did a huge festival called Rock Island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Completely sold out, destination place. So you're going, this is a ways down here, right?
Yeah.
And we're coming out of the end of, things that are going on with the pandemic. You want everyone to be safe, but that thing sold out so quickly, and we made it such a party. And so then, as I'm doing this, I've done Stagecoach, we've done Hometown Rising, mixing. I always mix my love of rock and my love of country. And again, I always say the most incredible fans, loyal fans in the world. And it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not like it goes away one year and comes back. It's a lifestyle. They're there partying. I went up on stage and did Margaritaville with Jimmy Buffett. We partied with everyone all day. I walked up on stage with Kenny Chesney. We did Every Rose Has Its Thorn at the stadium.
Yeah.
And we stopped playing it. We just did it acoustic. He goes, you don't even need to play the guitar, and the entire stadium sang it. You can watch it on YouTube. It's crazy. And I think I'll sort of be pre-saying this, so I don't want to, I'm saying this ahead of time. Guy Fieri and myself are working on an incredible Central Pennsylvania festival for 23, and it's simply called Crocker Fest, which is the 3 C's, cooking, country, and classic rock.
Love it.
We are combining a couple-day festival, and you will be 1,000% there with us, involved on every level, to make this a huge celebration, like the Pennsylvania Jam kind of party.
That sounds awesome. And putting Guy Fieri behind it too. I mean, that's just brilliant.
He loves music. He came up on stage with me at Stagecoach, and we sort of kicked this off at Stagecoach to try it. So we were up there cooking, making food, people going crazy, and we got to share this obviously with Luke Bryan, was is the king and a buddy, and Cole Swindle, who will be on the bill with us here, Dustin Lynch, and it was a great day in my life. So we did it at Hometown Rising. And now we're getting ready to launch this in 23, and maybe part of it will be barefoot again next year, which would be incredible.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. When you combine food and rock and roll music and country music, there's really nothing that can go wrong. Even if it's bad weather, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it is. There's something about, and again, I'm saying this, I know I'm diving deep, but this is true emotion speaking here. Every time I do a festival that combines, I've been lucky to be sort of they bring me in as the nothing but a good vibe or nothing but a good time party guy for the country festival.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, we have such a great time. I'm out there throwing baseball and football, hanging out with people, cooking. It is such a great vibe. And again, I want to go back to this. The most incredible fans in the world, for real, like loyal lifestyle. They're out there camping, cooking, playing horseshoes, frisbee. I threw football with a bunch of, when we were in Hometown Rising, I was throwing football with everybody for till about 3 minutes before the show. They're like, you need to go on stage. I'm like, you're right. And I ran up there and we started the show.
Well, you were warmed up by then. You were good to go. You were ready to go.
I was fired up. I was warmed up.
We're talking to Bret Michaels. I got to ask you this question before I cut you loose. 15-year-old Bret Michaels talking to Bret Michaels today. Is 15-year-old Bret Michaels proud of what you've become?
So that's a great question. The answer to that is the journey has been awesome, even with its highs and, let's say, lows, and a few of my less than reputable decisions along the way. I own it all. But I am grateful. The word is, it's more than proud, is I'm grateful for the journey and extremely happy that, again, I say this to everybody, All I needed was a chance. You just need a chance, and then the rest of it you got to earn. And the journey, I'm proud of the journey. It's been awesome, and I met incredible people along the way.
Well, Bret, I am really happy to have an opportunity to talk to you. I cannot wait for this Barefoot Country Music Festival coming up in Wildwood. You're going to be swinging by Pennsylvania, too. You got a Hershey date coming up on July 12th with Poison and Def Leppard and Motley Crue, and that's going to be awesome. And then you're out in Pittsburgh. You're in Bethlehem. You're all over the place, buddy. And you're doing some solo stuff, I guess, at the end of April in Bensalem.
We've been out doing solo stuff at all the arenas. We can't wait to get to Bensalem. And I have to say this before we go. First of all, number one, to all the fans, thanks for rocking our world. And I just want to say this. You were talking about diabetes.
Yep.
I want to put my Life Rocks Foundation sends thousands of kids to camp every year to learn how to cope and be strong with their diabetes, how to survive, thrive, and come out of it great. I want to make a donation with us together right here.
Okay.
For my Life Rocks Foundation, you and the station of let's send 5 kids. Let's make a donation of up to $5,000.
Wow.
And from me to us, but we're doing it together. It's to kick this off and send these kids to diabetic camp and let their parents and them for the first year just be able to go with no worries, and we will work on it together and at least minimum send 5 kids and show them that they are going to be able to rock the world. Dude,
that's awesome. That's fantastic. And by the way, if anybody wants to get some more information about anything that Bret's got going on, your website's bretmichaels.com.
That's it. And the new book talks all about Pennsylvania and my crazy upbringing there, with every picture to prove it, even the less than reputable photos. Not. I'm not talking waist down. I'm talking less than me riding my every. You will get such a Pennsylvania vibe about riding wheelies, building a dirt track in my front yard that my dad did not love when he came home from work. So it's you'll enjoy the new. It's just the Bret Michaels Auto Scrapography, which is the first volume of the autobiography.
First volume. So there's going to be more than one volume?
Yeah, there's 3 of them, and this is pictures and stories. That's why we called it Auto Scrapography. Every picture in there is to prove that the story I'm telling you see the exact timestamp.
Wow, it's fabulous, fabulous. Hey, real quick before we get pulled away, we could sit here and talk all afternoon, really. But
I could go. This is great.
You are a Steelers fan.
Yes.
Have you been following the movements and the picks and I mean, we need a new quarterback.
Absolutely. So, Trubisky,
yes.
Right? I'm a believer. First of all, Mike Tomlin's born on the same day as me, so it's March 15th. The Ides of March.
There you go.
I think Mike is an incredible quarterback, right? Or let me say this, Mike is an incredible coach.
Right.
And I think they make great decisions. They have a winning franchise. I'm a believer, and I want to make sure I say this right. I'm a believer that when you have a great chemistry in your team, it takes a village, and the Steelers will make that rock. And I grew up. We have a family friend, Matt Corral, that plays. Was a Heisman contender from Ole Miss,
mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping they will be open to Matt because he is a warrior with Pennsylvania spirit. Even though he's from California, he is a team guy. I know we got a brand new linebacker, and I just think the Steelers organization. I'm a believer. The Rooneys, the city, but again. Coming from Central PA as well, I'm watching everything because the Eagles are in there. You got the, Pirates, Penguins, Flyers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at. It's like a trifecta. Even if you drop down into Baltimore, I used to go down and see the O's play and now the Ravens. But the Steelers, because I'm black and they say gold, but I say black and yellow. They, black and yellow. They're such a great organization. I've been around them so much. Even recently, brought all the veterans out on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
I believe they made great choices, and they're going to make it work.
I hope your belief goes as far and wide as possible because my sons are such diehard Steelers fans. They're biting their fingernails all the way down to the to the cuticles here. They're nervous as hell.
We always do. Remember the old Steelers adage? They're not always great. They're just super great when they have to be.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everyone's biting their fingernails, but that's why we have Steeler football. It's cardiac football. We go out there. I'm telling you, you want to talk about my blood sugar levels going in 12 different directions? just pick a game day.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I'm a believer. We've got to believe that they are going to pull it together, and it will be a great move.
Oh, buddy, you're spot on. You're spot on. Dude, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. I know you got a lot of stuff on your schedule, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, thank you for having me on, taking your time, and I'll see you soon, and we'll make that awesome donation and for the kids, and thanks for having me.
You bet, buddy. You bet. Bret Michaels, ladies and gentlemen, go check him out. Barefoot Country Music Festival coming up June 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th in Wildwood, New Jersey. Thanks, man.
You got it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.